Glad to see everybody here today for another Sarah National session. We look forward to these each and every week, and gosh, have we had some real consistency in terms of rich content. My name is Jenny Anshondo, and I'm here as your host and moderator for the session today, and really every week. She is going to speak and give a really incredible presentation on setting up your social media profiles and pages. On the back half of that, we will do Q&A. So if she's going along and you're thinking, oh wait, I wish she would have spent more time on this, or I've started mine, but I'm really stuck on this component, or I started one, but I think I might want to start over. I want to hear what Ileana has to say. That's where you post your question, and then I will be here taking notes and watching right along with you so that your questions can get answered after she does her presentation. If you are not yet familiar with Ileana Martinez, well, you actually probably are, because she is the social media and marketing manager for Sarah National. So all of us who are here can thank her for doing enough marketing to bring us here, right? I mean, she is helping so much with just the overall image of that brand that has brought all of us together today. So she has more than 10 years of experience in communications and in marketing. She's worked with some really incredible, noteworthy brands like the Girl Scouts of the Desert Southwest. She was their chief of marketing and communications. She spearheaded all public relations and marketing efforts for the council. Before that, she had worked for the Raven Group, which is a national public policy firm. She supported and worked on local and national client campaigns. So in that capacity, it was a lot of different forms of media. So graphic design, video editing, social media skills. And then that brings her to where she is today, maintaining social media platforms, editing, maintaining the website, etc. for Sarah National, which we all know and love. On a personal note, Ileana Martinez loves all things related to literature, film, TV, and music. And listen, today's session is so juicy. Setting up those social media profiles. I know this is going to be really helpful, but I have to let you know, this is the second in a 3-part series. If you missed last week's, you've got to get back to the YouTube channel for the replay, because that one was talking about communication versus marketing versus advertising. What's the difference? And she helped with some different activations on how to get started with your business too. Next week, by the way, she's going to talk about the importance of email marketing. So they're all really juicy, really, really good. I don't want to waste any more time here. I'm going to mute myself. Ileana, take it away.
Thank you again for that warm welcome, Jenny. It's so amazing to be back here that I get to talk about another chapter of communications and marketing and advertising all encompassed into one, and that would be social media. So a lot of it is a communication aspect, but it's also marketing at the same time. And you could use it as an advertising tool. So like the more that we engage and communicate and talk to one another, the more we're leaning towards a social media landscape. So without further ado, let's get started. Today's presentation is going to be a little bit of a treat for you guys because this is going to be a little bit more interactive. So if you guys already have social media profiles that you have that are on a personal level where they're not connected to a business account, you can always follow along while I go ahead and talk about and instruct you all on like what exactly it is that you need to do to compile a business page. But then again, it's not just a business page. Business pages could be for youth groups at church. They could be for nonprofit organizations. They could be for podcasts, YouTubers, anything. Your social media is just not limited for commerce. It could be just about anything that you want to promote. So definitely it is a tool for communication by all means. So, and like Jenny said, like I'm going to be using some terms that I used at last week's webinar. So definitely go ahead if you didn't tune in last week. It's up on our YouTube channel. So that way when I talk about brand awareness and increasing your brand, what does that mean? Because you definitely want to build your solid foundation on your online presence. Because remember, guys, sometimes your social media is probably going to be the first impression that you make for potential customers, program participants, anybody that's going to have a first impression. It's becoming more prevalent that your social media is the first stop for anybody instead of your actual web page. So you definitely want to make sure that you are active, you're keeping track of just about everything. And that's what I'm here to help you with today. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with our presentation. So And Jenny, if you could just confirm with me that you could see my screen.
Yes, you are
Okay,
up now. We see the setting up your social media profiles and pages and then your beautiful picture.
thank you so much, love. Thank you for the compliment. um, so it's all about getting social, and social, when we think about it in a personal aspect, it's just like, okay, go ahead and make new friends. But now we're thinking about connectivity. Where are we going to start gaining followers, getting engagement? We don't think of these terms when we're talking about like an ice cream social that is like in an in-person place. We're talking about how many people are going to be viewing my content, what's going to be memorable for my potential customers or potential program participants in order for them to come back, and that way I can build some loyalty, whether it is for people that are aligned with the mission of my nonprofit or that are aligned with the product or the service that I provide to them. So do I need social media for my business? That's the biggest question that we can ask right now. But it's not just business. Again, we're not limiting ourselves to just businesses. It could just be anybody. And I have the answer, and the answer is yes. It's becoming almost impossible to avoid a social media landscape. And if on a personal level, if you're avoiding social media due to, in order for you to just stay, uh, I don't want to say the word sane or anything, but you don't want to feel bombarded by ads, by other people that you possibly don't know on your social media feeds. I really would like to hear if you guys want to put in the comment, like the reason I'm avoiding social media is because XYZ. Definitely that's something that a lot of social media marketing managers would like to know, because we're just so focused on trying to get as much people look into our content, but it's almost become impossible for people to not have social media because maybe a friend of theirs moved away or a family member moved away. And sometimes it's really hard to just pick up the phone and just call them up. We're living in completely different times where everybody's just so busy that you could just look at somebody's profile and see and stay up to date with their lives. So essentially, as a business and an organizational standpoint, you really needed to increase brand awareness and to have a little bit more validity in your brand. So it's all about building that foundation for your brand. And that way you could keep track of just like where are you reaching your potential audiences, and like how I had it in my last episode, it really helps you define who's going to be your target audience. So now that we have different generations spanning across social media platforms, it's really, really important that we start thinking like social media managers, like who are going to be audiences that I could tap in, because weirdly enough, each platform is not alike. You definitely have discrepancies when it comes to ages within certain platforms. So now that we have like millennials, Gen Z, and the upcoming Gen Alpha into play in our commerce, you definitely want to like solidify your brand, your online presence first with social media, so that way you could specifically target your audience, and then of course grow your brand loyalty. So before I start doing the interactive portions, I definitely want to do a little bit of a breakdown as to like starting to think strategically on what you should look into for social media if you're just starting from the groundwork up. If you have no profiles for any of your organizations or for your business, you definitely want to start looking into your platforms. So an example would be, and like I had it in my other episode, I kept referring to cosmetics. But if I'm offering a cosmetic service like lipsticks or like really cool eyeshadows, I really need to know who's going to be my target audience, because where is everybody flocking to? That should be the question, right? You need to define your audience and create a strategy. So if for cosmetics, TikTok has really, really amped up the commerce for makeup brands. And anything that comes out of like the e.l.f. brand, eyes, lips, and face, um, every single time they come out with a new product, you always see a TikToker reviewing and giving such positive feedback, to the point where like if you go to any Target or a Walmart, you will not find that product. So a lot of scarcity is coming from the cosmetics department because so many people are just on TikTok looking at the next best product and it's selling out everywhere. And also the fact that like there's a resurgence in Barnes and Noble brick and mortar stores, that they're going to be opening 30 more stores across the nation because TikTok has really helped a lot of young readers get back into the spirit of reading. And that's just really impressive because we once thought that books were going to become a thing from the past, but in reality, there was this hidden demand. And because of TikTok, this interest that was garnered through the pandemic has definitely rewrote the future for Barnes and Noble. And that young adult need for literature is still prevalent, and TikTok really amped up their efforts. But I'm not going to say that it goes for everybody. Sometimes certain products just work better on Facebook, on Twitter, or on even on LinkedIn too. So maybe for a nonprofit, TikTok wouldn't be your best strategy unless you would want to dive into some of the current trends that are on TikTok or on your Instagram reels. But really think strategically if that's what you want to align yourself and who's going to be managing and creating that content. Now, if you have a service or a product or a nonprofit organization that definitely aligns with people from a certain age range from like 30 to above, you definitely want to look into like Facebook. Twitter right now is a varied landscape just because right now it's a very unsteady network, I should say, but it's entirely up to you. And then for LinkedIn, it's definitely wonders to help you grow in your professional networks. So, and first and foremost, before we jump into building a business page, you need to look into building your personal profile pages first, because we're now living in times where in a second you could possibly be managing your organization's social media. It could just be, hey, we never had social media pages before and we're a staff of 5. Can somebody take the lead on building social media? And if you don't have any personal social media pages, it's definitely time to look into one. I'm not saying that you can go ahead and start like socializing, adding friends and family. You can make it a professional, personal profile where it's just a professional headshot and just build your network through there as well. Whatever is best fit for you and what you can tackle on, it's definitely worthwhile. There's always going to be positive results when it comes to this, and it's just another means of communication with other folks on your network that you can talk to and get inspiration even. So, and you have to get social, and like how I referred back, it's like, it's not just like the old terminology that we're thinking like, oh, I'm going to go to an ice cream social or I'm going to go to a dance and become social. This is time for you to really hinder and solidify your brand. And what is it? Like I said in my previous webinar, what is your brand? Is it like a specific color? Do you have a logo already? Do you have a tagline or a bio? Do you even have the elevator speech that I referenced last week? These are so integral to building your social media profile presence. Like for instance, this presentation that I built, it's using all of the colors on our SIR National color palette, so that way you can distinguish that this is SIR National branded, including our typeface, our font. So it's really, really important that you put any sort of graphics, even copy, like the text that you put that accompanies a photo. It's really important that that same messaging has that same communication throughout. If you are a nonprofit organization that is empowering women in the community, you definitely want to make sure you are writing in the style of someone that is empowering women in the community, rather than it just be bland and just trying to see if it's chips that fall into the place where they should. But really, a little bit of knowing your audience can just go such a long way. So today we're going to be going over 3 platforms, because really, like, we can spend a whole day just talking about building these platforms, but sadly we only get a little bit amount of time with these weekly webinars. But I wanted to tap into Facebook because it's genuinely like the biggest social media network right now. It has over 1.86 billion monthly active users, and that's like a 17% increase year over year. So Facebook is really, really big when you want to start developing your online presence. So an estimated 84% of US millennials are the largest active users of the platform. And Gen X isn't far behind though. And we definitely do see a presence of baby boomers that are still active on Facebook. So you definitely don't want to diminish Facebook and its sister, because Facebook and Instagram are now part of the metaverse. So you have Instagram that's connected to Facebook, and you have over 500 million monthly active users through Instagram, and it is the fourth most downloaded app in the United States. So it is big, and it's probably going to surpass Facebook in the near future, definitely because we have Gen Z, and Gen Z has vocalized that it's their favorite social media platform alongside TikTok. But if you wanted to develop ads and more content, everything that's more photo based and video based, you definitely want to aim for Instagram. And just if you can't do TikTok, you can do Instagram Reels, which are basically the 30-second, 60-second, 3-minute videos. And you can just go ahead and make that your own instead of having to continually post like on TikTok. So, and then we also wanted to go over LinkedIn today because for any of our nonprofits that are out there watching, it is definitely one of the most beneficial platforms that you can use to build your network and have people just look at the great work that you're providing in your community. So, and your staff can also connect with you in your business page and be brand ambassadors through your LinkedIn. So people based around the ages of 25 to 34, they're 59.1 percentage. It's a 59.1 percentile of LinkedIn's user base. So you can find a lot of these stats that are for the social media platforms online, and they have them broken down by percentages. And excuse me. You could see all of the social media reports that have come out each year, like Sprout Social and Hootsuite are two social media management platforms that come out every year with reports that say, you know what, we've seen demographics change from Facebook to Instagram, vice versa, or like Twitter users are slowly declining. Those are always great pieces of information to have as resources as you grow your networks on social media. And also, it's really, really key that you stay active on social media, that everything is up to date, and designating a social media manager and a content producer, because weirdly enough, those two can actually be separate jobs on their own. And when you have one person doing it, it can be a lot because doing strategy and management is one thing, but also producing photos, video, copy, graphics, anything of that sort, it's another thing. And you always want it to be in good quality. So without further ado, if you guys have an open tab, or if you're listening on the phone, you can envision possibly what these pages are going to look like. So let's get started. I took a head start on developing my personal social media profiles because I wanted to show you guys where we could start and how you can create your business pages. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen in just a few moments while I bring up my tabs. And Jenny, can you confirm with me if you could see my screen?
It's just now popping up, and we're seeing the Discover page on Facebook, and then it looks like you have an Instagram tab in the background, and then Instagram. Yep.
Perfect. We're right here. So in case you have developed your social media profile, I developed a professional social media profile. So you're going to go to your homepage, and there's I don't have anybody that I'm following currently right now, but right here, this is where you're going to start on the pages side. That's going to be on your left-hand side. And it's going to give you suggested pages, but you don't need to worry about that. But you can start creating your new page by hitting the button and create a page. Now, this is where you put your page name. Whatever your organization, your business is going to be, make sure that it reflects itself, because this is where it's going to be, right here in the middle. If you are a brand that has numerous names, maybe definitely think of a strategy where you can make it into one, because you want your name to be a consistent across all platforms. So for us, our handle is @SirNational across all social media platforms. But our official name is Sir Jobs for Progress. So if you have any brand, organizational, like podcast, anything, think of a name. So I'm just gonna put Testing Ileana as my business page. And right here, nonprofits, if you want to put nonprofit organization, right here, religious organization, youth organization. If you are a business, you can put a consultant, insurance broker. You can put a lot of categories in here. For instance, with me, it's social media. So I'm going to put social media. So I could be a social media agency if I want to as well. Real estate, restaurant, anything. It's already there for you. So I'm going to press social media agency. And now bios are optional, but it's always, always helpful to have a bio or something really short and sweet in order for you to come across, because again, this is the first impression you're going to give to people. They're not even probably going to go to your website. They're probably going to go directly to your social media profiles before they go to your website, just so that way they can see that you are credible. And putting in that bio is going to be definitely helpful, because if you don't have a bio, sometimes it could tune people out and just be like, I don't want to look more into this business, this organization, if they don't have a bio. So with me, I could just put young social media professional as a quick bio. But if you guys have any questions on writing any like great bios, never hesitate on contacting me. We could definitely work together to see what would be the best fit for you. And that's where you hit this button right here, create a page. And as it's thinking, you're gonna start getting asked, because you have one of 5 steps once you finish inputting that information. So you have your website, and that is where you get your hyperlink for a website that you have. If you don't have a website, definitely look into either Wix, Squarespace, WordPress. Any of those websites can help you develop a website, and it will certainly help you with anything, whether it's providing your goods and services, informing people of your nonprofit. Definitely you want to go strong with a website. Also provide a phone number and an email too. It's just a general email. It could be info@testingileana@gmail.com, and always put your location so that way people can find you. If you're offering brick and mortar, if you have like a storefront that's in person, people can find you. And the great thing is when you put your hours of operation, Facebook will tell people, hey, they are open at this time. And they will also notify people if you're looking them up on a Sunday. They'll tell audiences, hey, they're closed on Sundays. So it's always good for it to do the job for you, instead of like people having to call you and just be like, no, we're closed today or something like that. So it's always good to be transparent when it comes to your information, because sometimes people won't be able to reach you on your website or your phone number or even your email. They're probably going to be coming to you through social media as well. A lot of businesses have been moving forward into DMing directly to a potential customer, program participant that's interested. So we're just going to put a website, let's see, like www.sir-national.org, a phone number. I'm just going to put we'll fix that in just a moment, and then I'm just going to put my email. And we're just going to put always open. Okay. I think I just need to put the 1 in order for us to recognize that we're in the United States. Boom. Now, here's the fun part. This is where you start customizing your page. So adding a profile picture. Uh, if you're going to be developing your own personal profile photos, I really encourage everybody to pick a headshot that reflects who you are and how you want to represent your brand. Because as much as we like to take photos, like holding our cameras up front, it's great. Don't get me wrong. But if you could get a photographer, just invest a little bit more on a professional headshot, it's going to go a long way. I can promise you that. But if you're doing it for your organization or your business, do you guys have a logo? And if so, is it an icon? Is it something that's going to have to be condensed? Because these assets have to be sized appropriately. You can't just add anything into a profile picture or a cover photo. So cover photo is this, profile photo is this little icon right here. Everything needs to be sized accordingly because it could either come out distorted, pixelated, and it could potentially cut off any like important notes that you might have. So for instance, with me, let's pick a profile photo. Let's go. I had one up in mind. Let's see. I'm going to stop sharing my screen really quick. And my computer is thinking, I'm so sorry, guys.
Totally okay. Totally get it.
um,
While you're thinking, while your computer's thinking,
yes.
as people are considering which photos to use, should it be like how tight of a shot do you recommend?
I definitely always recommend like shoulder and above. So we're gonna go into our desktop. We're gonna go here. So I included my headshot and then I saved all of these graphics for when I just have this photo right here that I'm gonna include. Life on business. There we go. So just an example. So I'm gonna share my screen again over here.
Okay, we can see it.
Perfect. So I added my headshot here and it's going to give me the option to drag and reposition. So this one is not sized accordingly. This was an example that I wanted to show you guys. Like you need to size your cover photos, and also like my headshot's a little bit cut off, but you will have the option once the page is set up to go ahead and edit your photos and crop out where would it be more appropriate. So go ahead and just adjust. But like I said in my previous episode, Canva has these really great resources for, you don't even have to be a graphic designer in order for you to develop these assets for your social media pages. You can go ahead and just create assets that are already sized accordingly. And they are already in pixels that are going to be appropriate for each thing. So you could be like, I need a Facebook header. So you just look it up on Canva and it's going to give you the sizes and all you have to do is create it. And even it will even also give you like for your profile photo, it will give you like the dimensions for you to have like the headshot ratio for like your headroom to your shoulders. So always try to go with a best professional headshot. And if you don't have a photographer in mind, you are your best photographer. And if you have a handy dandy phone that has portrait mode, just set up a blank wall and start posing, start taking pictures of yourself and seeing which one's going to be the best. We don't want to do like the holding the camera up front. It will definitely be better if you were to just have your camera like on a tripod, or if somebody can do it for you, that's even better. So these are the two assets that we're going to be confirming. So we're already on step 3 of 5. You can connect a WhatsApp number in order for people to directly contacting you, because weirdly enough, WhatsApp is becoming a social media platform, a place for you to connect with your friends and family, like in different parts of the world, is now becoming a social media tool. And you're thinking like, how so? You can actually post stories on your WhatsApp and people can reach out to your business through WhatsApp. So I don't really have a WhatsApp to connect to my business page, so we're going to skip that. And building your page audience. So this is like going to be like where your friends and family are definitely going to help you out here. So you're going to, and you can invite your friends and family to like your page. If it's your best friend, if it's your cousin, your mom, anybody, they can start liking your page, and it's already going to help promote automatically to people that follow you or that have a connection to you to find your page. So we finalize that, and make sure to always stay informed of your pages. I understand that we have so many building blocks that are happening in our lives for us to be like, oh, I can't immediately respond to that person. Facebook has this gadget where it will give you a percentile on how you're doing when it comes to responding to requests from people on your business pages. So sometimes it can give you a 98 percentile, and people will be like, oh, that means they are efficient in responding to my messages. So definitely don't put them off completely, but you also want to be mindful. And again, be aware of the trolls. That's what we say on social media. Just there's always going to be people that have critiques, and you don't necessarily need to respond to them. Just don't feed the trolls. And marketing and promotional emails about your page. I necessarily don't have those marketing emails for when it comes to Facebook. And with that, we're done. So it's just going to generate this page. So testing Ileana. And while that is happening, we can get started on business for Instagram, because like I said, guys, this is going to be a lot to condense into 1 hour. So we did Facebook just now. Now we move on to Instagram. So I already got like a head start from what I said in the beginning. I set up my profile, but now I'm like, okay, I have my personal profile. Now I want to add a professional account. So when you go into Instagram, you're going to have the option of whether you want to be a creator or a business. Wow, that is, what kind of time frame are we living in where we have to distinguish ourselves as like creators and businesses? Because like on Facebook, it's not really like that. If you're an influencer or you're a creator, you just do a business page. Instagram here, it's really different. We just think of like Kylie Jenner or Hailey Bieber, Selena Gomez. They're really big influencers, so they probably have creator pages. But us, we are more towards leaning towards the business side. Creator pages have a little bit more leniency when they can use like certain GIFs or songs, because if you use a business profile for Instagram and you are posting on your story, but you want to use a song that's really popular right now by Billie Eilish, it's not going to give you that option because media law comes into play. I took some courses in college for media law, and it shows that, excuse me, certain businesses need to have permission in order to use songs that are promoting their organization, their products, their services. So the Instagram business page is gonna like limit you when it comes to selecting certain pieces of media. So like I said, it's retailers, local businesses, brands, organizations, and service providers. So definitely want to click that. And it's going to tell you how you could learn about your followers, because remember guys, each page has its own system where they can measure metrics. So you can learn about your followers, you can reach your customers, and you can get new contact options. Like I said, DMs are becoming more and more prevalent over emailing and calling a business directly. So you definitely want to have someone that is monitoring your social media at all times. So for instance, I'm going to put a nonprofit here. Done. And you definitely want to put the category. So public business information, I already have everything laid out here. So putting in my number, and of course show contact information on your profile, because you don't want to remove those mediums, those ways where people can get in contact with you. So it looks like it cannot update my contact information. So sorry about that, guys. But as of right now, we have that set up, and it's going to be basically the same thing as a personal social media profile. And you're gonna just see different pages that you can like. It's going to, once you approve your contact information, it's going to send you a confirmation email that you're gonna be a user. And make sure that you get someone that's going to be your content manager or your social media marketing manager, or if you're gonna be the wonders person that can have all hats in your business, you definitely want to see where you can strategize what's going to be the best fit for you when it comes to developing content. And if you're unsure where to start on developing content, look for places or your competitors on what they're doing for content. It never hurts to get inspiration from any other source of social media pages, TV commercials, anything. What are brands doing? And it's so powerful when you start seeing the landscape of how brands are managing social media. Like, I love the Scrub Daddy sponges, and their social media manager is really rocking it on TikTok. And it's just like, how can you apply a strategy like that into your own brand? So really look for inspiration and see if this is gonna like tie into your brand for your nonprofit, for your business, and see what's going to get more engagement. And just remember, it never ever hurts to learn more about social media and how to type and write for social media. We had this really great guest speaker not too long ago join us for our weekly webinar, where she spoke nothing but social media, and her name was Estefania. I really encourage you guys to look into our YouTube channel to see her amazing weekly webinar. And she spoke nothing about how to learn your markets, how to write, how to post on your social media pages. She was super, super helpful. So now we're getting into LinkedIn, and I got a head start once again on creating my social media profile. This is on the personal side, but if you want to develop a page, you're going to come over here where it says work, up on this corner right here, work, and create a company page. So right here, it is small, medium, and large business, showcase a page, or educational institution. We're gonna go with company page right here. And this is where you're gonna add your organization name or your nonprofit name. And then this is gonna give you your unique LinkedIn address. So it's gonna be linkedin.com/company. And then here is gonna be your website. So it could be any website that you have in mind, and the industry. It's always important to share like what it is that you're doing. But remember, guys, LinkedIn is such a different social media landscape that it's to build your professional network. So for a nonprofit organization, this is going to be so helpful. So you definitely want to put like empowerment nonprofit, or this is a leading women in development, anything of that sort. And you want to put your organizational size. It's, again, if you're going to be the social media manager for the LinkedIn of your page, it's very important for you to put like how many people are working in your organization, just so that way people can be made aware of how big or how small anybody is going to. I'm so sorry. I saw a message pop up and I was like, oh, I'm sorry. So that way they can know exactly how big you are, how small if you just started, and how you're growing, and your organizational type, of course. So nonprofit, public company, self-employed. My self-employed people, if you are just starting off here, welcome. Self-employed, we're doing a lot of resources as well, that if you're looking into starting your own business, this is going to be super, super helpful. Now we're going back here. So LinkedIn gave us 300 by 300 pixel recommendation for JPEGs and PNGs. So a JPEG is a photo. PNG is also the same photo. It's a portable network graphic, and they're going to be better resolution. JPEGs can sometimes be a little bit blurry when compared to a PNG. So you definitely want to save your photos as a PNG. If it's a JPEG, that's totally fine too. But make sure that you put your logo across all social media brands, that they're all concise and cohesive. And back to how we said that tagline, you want to put your bio, anything short. Remember that elevator pitch I keep emphasizing. It needs to be small, short, and sweet in order for people to best remember you and that first impression that's going to come. So once you're done, you create your page, and it's going to basically be the exact same with Facebook, with Instagram, and with LinkedIn. You're going to have a completely empty feed of recommendations provided by LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. It's going to have just different accounts that it's like, oh, well, if you're a nonprofit, I'm going to give you nonprofit videos that you can definitely share, to that way you can get engagement. These algorithms are just becoming so much more crazier when it comes to engagement, and the landscape for social media is becoming more and more unique to each person. And that's what's really fun about social media, if you think about it. I'm gonna go back into my presentation, and I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for just a moment so that way I can bring up my last slides on my presentation. And bringing up the WebEx so that way I could share my screen. And there we go.
Perfect. It looks like it's about to pop up.
Awesome.
There you are.
There I am. So if you guys have any other questions about social media, I know it is so much to condense into 1 hour, but we could be on here the whole day talking about social media and just how these algorithms are becoming more and more unique to each and every organization, each and every business. But I'm here to help you guys. If you guys have any questions on social media, what's going to be the best fit for you, any of that sort, I am a resource. Please feel free to find me at imartinez@cernnational.org. And I look forward to hearing from anybody. So take it away, Jenny.
Amazing. That was so helpful. Thank you for going through step by step. I'm going to give you some rapid fire questions for the next 15 minutes here, so get ready. When you were referencing emails, this is just sort of like a logistical thing. Somebody was asking, what's the difference between a business email and a personal email? I'm guessing it's like, Jenny Anchondo at Gmail versus Jenny Anchondo at cernnational.org, but I'll let you kind of explain that.
Sure. So you definitely, for your own sake, I should say, you definitely want to separate the two. And I see you nodding your head as in like, yes, you definitely want to separate the two, because you have your own personal messages that are coming through on your own end, such as your friends, your family that are, and also like your own stores that you are loyal to on one account for your personal. But your professional is definitely going to be the one that is solely and completely dedicated to your mission, to your brand, to anything. And that's going to be so helpful to, that way it's going to be a better balance for you. So that way you can know that if you're going into a personal Gmail account, that's going to be like your safe haven of your means of communication with your friends and family, but also the brands that you are like buying from. So that way you can keep your archives there. But then you go into Ileana, Martinez at testingileana.com. That's going to be my inbox with requests, with questions. If I'm talking to other clientele about my product, anything that I could just switch to, it's going to be so much easier for me to balance, or for anybody who's a business owner or a nonprofit organization. They're going to be easily be able to use that as their means of communication with customers or anybody else, any other business that they're working with. And to have that email be part of their social media profiles is going to be super important. So that way, in case someone is very unfamiliar on private messaging or instant messaging, they can immediately just email, and they'll hyperlink it on each social media profile. So that way your email app can automatically pop up, whether it's on your phone or on your computer. You can go ahead and just email them directly.
And super short follow-up. Somebody's asking, should I get my business email prior to opening social media profiles?
If it's a personal, like where you just want to use it for both your personal profile and then connect it to your business page, I would definitely use your business email, just strictly for your business. But if you are definitely a person that just does not want to use social media, period, and you're just like, I'm using social media because I have to, not because I want to, definitely just create your profile with your business email address, if that makes sense. So that way,
so either way, the answer is get the business email prior to opening the social media profiles.
Correct. Yes. And definitely you want to have your website and your branding a little bit more cohesive before you start stepping into the waters of social media. Because how I showed right now, a lot of those questions are going to be like, what's your website? What's your email? What's your business? What's your logo, like your profile photo, your cover photo? Any of that sorts is going to be much better welcomed if you were to have all of those assets ready than if you didn't. So I definitely recommend you have all of those materials ready beforehand.
Is there a program or a website where people can see their social media metrics at a glance, or where they can compare month over month, week over week?
Yes, there is. So I am very familiar with Hootsuite. It's HOOTSUITE. You can actually integrate your social media profiles. You can connect them, and that way they will provide you these full-fledged reports in PDF, by the way, these full-fledged reports on how your social media is performing. It will tell you your engagement, your impressions, your likes, your comments. And it's just really, really helpful when you see these impressions, because impressions don't mean followers. So impressions are like how many eyeballs are watching your content. So you can have 500,000 impressions on a post, but how many people actually engaged. And by that, it's like how many people actually liked it or commented. So you have to start learning and thinking like a social media manager on what's going to be developing that engagement, because like I mentioned in last week's episode, the more engagement you have, the more you're going to be defeating the algorithm in a sense. That algorithm is like, we need more content that's going to be engaging in order for us to put it up on top. Because I really want to emphasize this so much, that when you look at a social media feed, it's not like a bulletin board where you can just put something and just wait until someone looks at it. An algorithm is already working. It's like its job on what it's programmed to do, and it's going to be like, hey, this post from 2 weeks ago was actually performing way better than the post you just had on 5 minutes ago. So I'm going to bring it up to the top and put yours down at the bottom. So that's how our algorithms are now working on social media, and social media managers are trying to see like, what are the keywords that you shouldn't include on copy, because that also helps the algorithm to put your posts down on the social media feeds. So including even like click here, that can definitely put your social media posts all the way down if you were to like try to direct people outside to like your website. So you definitely just want to put like a link, and that's it, because that way the algorithm is going to be like, no, the whole purpose of the algorithm is like, we want people to stay on Facebook longer than 30 minutes. So if they're going to take them to an outside website, we don't want that. So we're going to push it on down from the social media feeds. So it's just tricky. And Hootsuite, Sprout Social, Those two are going to be really great resources on how you can have a calendar as well on publishing social media content without you having to do a lot of the work right then and there. You can program it all within a week, and you can just have everything on your content calendar be ready for like 9 o'clock a.m. on a Monday. It can already be published by the time you step into the office, or if you're having a weekend event and you can start posting like Saturday morning at 6 a.m. or something like that. These are going to be really, really helpful tools for you to just have a balance and a schedule for your social media. But be mindful, we don't want to be posting every single day if people are not engaging every single day. Hootsuite tells you, hey, there's more people on Facebook on Monday at 5 p.m. than on Tuesday at 3 p.m. And they're going to give you those metrics. So definitely look into that. But Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn will also give you those metrics. But if you want it all in one place, definitely go to Hootsuite.
Got it. Now, you mentioned social media manager, content creator as a couple of positions. So social media, can you explain the difference between the two, first of all? Then second, are these two jobs that the business owner could, in theory, do themselves if they were just starting out?
Sure. So social media manager, it's all about implementing a strategy. So you're thinking like, I need to make a plan of how much I'm going to be posting weekly or monthly and seeing what is going to be my target audience and what is the content that I should be posting on each social media page. So we're thinking more strategically. Now, a content creator, I like to think more as the creative in this duo. So this is going to be like the person that's going to say, hey, we should definitely create a graphic where we're talking about our upcoming event and we're going to include these, because you don't want to put that much text on your graphic. So you have to start developing a graphic eye if you're going to be a content creator on where you're going to be placing specific images, text as well on each video on a graphic. You're going to start wanting to think how creatively you can grab someone's attention, because every single time you see a Disney post out of like Facebook, they have an appealing graphic that's accompanying their text, their copy. So it could be like, hey, The Mandalorian season 3 just came out, and it's like a picture of the Mandalorian with Grogu, and people are like going crazy over it. So we want to think what's going to best make grab people's attention, I should say. So content creator is the creative, social media marketing manager is the strategist. And it's kind of like a really cool yin and yang effect where it's just like you have someone that's going to be like all about the data and all about the numbers, while you have someone that's going to be all about the creative aspect of becoming a content creator. And influencers, they do get a lot of like hate because of that they're just influencers and they're making their money off of creating content. But in reality, that takes a lot of time in making an effective video that's going to garner like so many views. So it always goes off the wayside when people think about content creation, because if you want good content creation, it's going to take time. So that's a little bit of the gist on what exactly it is to have that. But can one person do it? Yes, I'm doing it right now. But people, it is doable. I really do mean it, because there's just so many resources now that people have thought like, oh my gosh, there's just so much that a person has to do for social media to keep up and to make it so engaging and to solidify their brands. There's so many resources like Hootsuite now that will help you strategize how much you should be posting every day and when you should be posting every day. And it will also give you ideas and inspiration like, hey, a Throwback Thursday post, you should definitely try writing something like this with a copy and making a graphic like this. Canva is a really great resource when it comes to designing graphics as well, when you're feeling stumped, like, oh, I already used this photo that we did in this photo shoot. What can I do now? So there are many, many resources. And if you guys don't feel confident about it, just know that a lot of brands are kind of operating like, okay, we got to test it out and see. It's called A/B testing. If one thing of that same social media post doesn't work, you can edit it and then put a different keyword and then see if it gets more engagement. That's called A/B testing. And that's what we implement sometimes in marketing. We do it sometimes in email marketing, which is going to be a little bit more for next week's episode, but you can also do it for social media. So it's just seeing what's going to stick and what's going to create that sense of engagement.
We have just a really couple minutes here left. Is if somebody's looking to, obviously you work full time on this for Sarah National. Somebody has a small business and they're looking to engage somebody where they're like, okay, I need a social media manager. Is that something they can hire out as like a contract type thing, where they may not be able to afford a full-time person? And if so, what should they be looking for? What are expectations? What should they ask if they're interviewing that person?
That is really, really a great question, Jenny. I really think that they need to develop their own business plan first. And whenever people develop a business plan, they need to put like a little bit of marketing into it when they're thinking about like, I really want to solidify my brand. I'm really just like in the stepping stones of it. And you can always look for social media strategists. There's so many people on LinkedIn that are self-employed as social media managers that they can do contract work for you or freelance writing. Give them a chance, try it out. And I mentioned compare quotes and see who's going to be the best person that's going to advocate in building your brand, because you definitely want to build that sense of trust with that person. So who's going to be the best person that's going to come to you and say, I see a bunch of opportunities that we could do if we were to create graphics like this, if we were to post videos like this, if we have Instagram Q&As on Instagram Live, like what's going to be the best suited? And you could pay them with a monthly fee and maybe allocate those funds where you can be like, I can't possibly pay someone full time, but maybe with these funds that I have, I can put it to a social media manager and they can give me a plan that would be best suited for that price and best suited for my needs as well.
And when they do that, so it can just be like a contract thing. And is there also such a thing where somebody would set up a plan for a business owner to execute him or herself?
I'm probably would, I definitely want to see more if social media managers do it, because I've always worked in-house as a social media manager. But it never hurts to ask if they could possibly develop that plan for you as a business owner and how much of a rate that would be for them. But there's so many resources online. If you were to Google like a social media business plan, Hootsuite already has some and Sprout Social does as well, that if you want to tackle this first chapter on your own, it's definitely doable. And you're just kind of like, you know what, I'm so overwhelmed taking care of my other portion of my business that I think it's time for me to hire someone to do it. That's when you start allocating those funds and seeking out maybe a social media manager that is independent, can do this for me, or hire somebody in-house.
Ileana, you are remarkable. Thank you so much for everything today.
Thank you, Jenny.
All right, you all, this has been another great session. It flew by for me. I hope that it flew by for you in the best way possible. So listen, let me remind you that last week's session is already up now on Sarah National's YouTube channel. So that is the session that went into communication versus marketing versus advertising. What's the difference? The link conveniently is in the chat right there. And then next week, Ileana is back with us. It's a triple header of Ileana, and she's going to talk about the importance of email marketing. This is another great topic. She's really going to take us step by step. So the replay of today's will be up by next Wednesday, just in time for next week's session. And I want to remind you that we all want to see you at the 59th annual conference, Creating Gateways to Economic Equity. If you are local, or even if you're not local and we want to travel to us, we are going to be at the Hilton Dallas Plano Granite Park in Plano, Texas. Have a beautiful day, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.